Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Tarot Talk Show podcast. I'm your host, George Dus, and I'm so glad you're here for episode 7. Last time in episode 6, we explored something a little unexpected, using tarot as a creative partner. We talked about the seed, soil, spark spread. We played the what if game, and we took a guided journey into stepping in directly into a card's world to co-create with it. That episode was about moving beyond tarot as just a mirror and learning to work with the cards as collaborators in imagination and problem solving. Today we're coming back to one of the most requested, most emotionally loaded, and honestly the most challenging type of readings that exist: relationship readings. Whether you read for yourself or for others, love questions are probably the most frequent ones that come up. Does he feel the same way? Is this relationship going anywhere? Why did they ghost me? Will we ever get back together again? Am I with my twin flame? These questions arrive wrapped in hope, grief, longing, confusion, and sometimes desperation. And if you're the one holding the cards, you're holding something tender, someone else's heart, laying bare on the table. So today we're going to talk about how to approach relationship readings with grounded presence, ethical clarity, and intuitive skill. We'll look at what makes love readings different from other types of readings. We'll explore some spreads that actually work. I'll share a story from my own practice about a reading that went sideways and what I learned from it. We'll talk about the common ways readers, including myself, can get tangled up in projection, hope, and the desire to rescue. This isn't a fluffy episode about soulmates or destiny. This is real talk about reading one of the most complex, vulnerable areas of human experience. So take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale. And let's dive in. There's something about relationship readings that change the energy in a room. You can ask someone about their career, their finances, their creative projects, and they'll be curious, maybe a little nervous, but generally open. Ask them about love, the whole atmosphere shifts. Suddenly there's this change in the air, a kind of electricity mixed with fragility. That's because love touches the most vulnerable parts of us. It's where we feel seen or invisible, wanted or rejected, safe or abandoned. When someone asks about a relationship, they're not just asking about the other person. They're asking about their own worth, their desirability, their hope for connection. And that's what makes relationship readings high stakes. I've done readings where a person sitting across from me was barely holding it together. Tears ready to fall before I even laid out the first card. I've had clients ask the same question 3 different ways because they didn't like the answer the first time. I've watched people cling to a single hopeful card in a spread and completely ignore the other cards that were waving red flags. Love makes us irrational. And tarot, if you're not careful, can feed that rationality instead of bringing clarity. Here's what I mean. When someone asks about their career and the cards show challenge or delay, they can usually accept that. Okay, it's going to take a little longer than I thought. I need to adjust my approach. There's enough distance to think practically. When the cards show challenge in a love reading, oh boy, that's when people start bargaining. But what if I do this differently? What if they just need more time? Can the cards be wrong? The emotional investment runs so deep that accepting an uncomfortable truth becomes almost impossible. And as the reader, you're navigating all that. You're trying to give an honest reading while also holding space for someone's heartbreak, or longing, or confusion. That's a lot. So the first thing to understand about relationship readings is this. They require a different level of presence. You're not just interpreting cards. You're holding emotional space. You're witnessing someone else's vulnerability. And you have to stay grounded in your own center so you don't get swept up in their emotions or your own ideas of what should happen. But here's the thing. We all have opinions about love. We all have our own stories, wounds, and hopes. And if you're not careful, those can bleed into readings. You may unconsciously project your own relationship history onto someone else's situation. Or you might get caught up in wanting to give them hope when the cards are actually suggesting something more sobering. Relationship readings hit differently because they require more than just knowing the cards. They ask us to bring emotional intelligence to the table, not just symbolic knowledge. And that brings me to the most important shift you can make when approaching this work. Let me tell you about a reading I did early in my practice that taught me a hard lesson about boundaries. A woman came to me asking about her ex. They'd been broken up for months, but she was convinced that they were meant to be together. She wanted to know, does he still love me? Will he come back? What do I need to do to make him realize we should be together? I pulled the cards, and honestly, the reading was clear. It showed closure, moving forward separately, growth happening in different directions. The energy between them wasn't there anymore. But I didn't want to hurt her. I could see how much pain she was in. So instead of being direct, I softened the message. I focused on the few cards that could be interpreted hopefully. I said things like, well, there's still some energy here, but it needs time to develop. When what I really saw was, this is over. She left that reading feeling hopeful. A few months later, she came back, angry, hurt, and disappointed. She spent those months waiting, trying, holding on to something that was never going to happen. And she felt like I misled her. And she was right. I did put her feelings ahead of the truth. I projected my own discomfort with delivering difficult news onto the reading. And in trying to protect her from the pain, I actually prolonged it. That was a turning point for me. I realized that compassionate reading doesn't mean telling people what they want to hear. It means telling them what they need to know, but with care. So let's talk about how to stay ethically grounded when doing relationship readings. First, don't read for the other person. This is huge. When someone asks, how does he feel about me? Or what is she thinking? You're stepping into ethically muddy territory. You're reading someone else's inner world without their consent. Now, I know some readers disagree with me on this. They'll say, but the cards can reveal hidden feelings. And sure, maybe they can. But here's my question. Even if you can access that information, should you? I've landed on this boundary for myself. I'll read the energy between two people. I'll look at the dynamic, the patterns, the way the relationship is moving. But I won't claim to know what's happening inside someone else's head or heart without their permission. Instead, I reframe the question, how does he feel about me, becomes, what do I need to understand about this connection right now? Or what is the current energy between us? That shift is everything. It centers the reading back on the person right in front of you, the only person you're ethically responsible to. Second, focus on agency, not outcomes. Relationship readings can easily turn into fortune telling. Will we get back together? Are they my soulmate? Is this going to work out? These questions put all the power outside the person asking. They're looking for a verdict from the universe, as if they had no say in how things unfold. The most empowering readings give people clarity about their own choices, feelings, and next steps, not predictions about someone else's behavior. So when someone asks, will he come back? I might rephrase it as, what do you need to focus on right now in terms of your own healing and clarity? Or, what is your best path forward, whether he returns or not? That's not avoiding the question. That's directing the reading towards what's actually serving the person. Third, name your own limits. If a reading feels too close to therapy, or if the person is clearly in crisis, it's okay to say, I think the situation calls for support beyond what tarot can offer. Have you considered talking to a counselor or therapist? You're not a trained mental health professional. You're a tarot reader. Those are different skill sets. And knowing when to refer someone to the right kind of support is part of being responsible. Fourth, check your own projections. Before you read about love, ask yourself, what are my own beliefs about relationships? What am I bringing into the space? If you're someone who believes in soulmates, you may interpret the cards through that lens. If you've been hurt by infidelity, you may see red flags everywhere. If you're a romantic optimist, You may unconsciously want every reading to be a very happy ending. None of these perceptions are wrong, but they're yours, not the sitter's. And you have to be aware of them so you don't color the reading. The clearer you are about your own stuff, the clearer the reading becomes. This work requires you to be grounded, boundaried, and honest. Not harsh, not cold, but clear. Because the kindest thing you can do for someone asking about love is to help them see the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. All right, let's get practical. I want to share a few spreads I use regularly for relationship readings. These work whether you're reading for yourself or for someone else. Spread number 1, you, them, the energy between. This is probably the most simplest and most useful 3-card spread for relationships. Card number 1, you. What are you bringing into this connection right now? Your energy, your emotional state, your role. Card number 2, them. What are they bringing? Their energy, their emotional state, their role. Card number 3, the energy between, the dynamic, the field that exists when you come together. This card often reveals what neither person sees clearly on their own. What I love about this spread is that it doesn't try to predict the future. It just gives you a snapshot of the present moment. And often, that's all you need to gain clarity. For example, I once pulled the spread for a client who was confused about why her relationship felt off. The cards came up as Queen of Swords for her, clear, direct, needing truth. Knight of Cups for him, romantic, idealistic, maybe a little in his own fantasy. And the Five of Pentacles for the energy between, lack, coldness, feeling unsupported. She looked at those cards and said, "Oh, I've been asking for honesty and he keeps giving me pretty words. We're not actually meeting each other." That's what a good spread does. It clarifies what's already there. Spread number 2, heart, mind, body, and spirit. This one goes deeper. It's great when someone wants to understand the full dimension of a connection. Card number 1, heart, the emotional truth. What are you feeling? What's your heart asking for? Card number 2, mind, the mental truth. What are you thinking? What story are you telling yourself? Card number 3, body, the physical truth. What does your nervous system know? What are you sensing in your gut? And finally, card number 4, spirit, the soul truth. What is your deeper self trying to tell you about this connection? Sometimes all 4 cards align, but often they don't. Your heart may want one thing. Your mind might be rationalizing something else. Your body might be screaming, "No." Your spirit might be asking, "This is a lesson, not a destination." When there's conflict between cards, that's where real insight lives. That's where you get to explore the inner tension and help the person see what they're actually navigating. Spread number 3, past, present, future, plus foundation. This is a 4-card variation of the classic past, present, future layout, but with one critical addition. Card number 1, past. What brought you to this moment? The history, the pattern, the foundation this relationship was built on. Card number 2, present. What's happening now? The current state of the connection. Card number 3, future. Where is this heading if the current energy continues? And finally, card number 4, foundation. What's underneath it all? The core dynamic, the hidden truth, the thing that's been here from the beginning. That 4th card is essential because sometimes the past, present, future looks positive, but the foundation card reveals something that changes everything. Maybe the whole relationship has been built on fantasy or fear of being alone or unhealed wounds. The foundation card keeps you honest. And a note on clarifiers. No matter which spread you use, don't be afraid to pull qualifiers. Relationship readings are nuanced. A single card may not tell the whole story. If the Two of Cups shows up and you're sensing that it's not as harmonious as it appears, pull another card and ask, what's underneath this? You may get the Seven of Swords, which may suggest hidden motives or lack of full honesty. Clarifiers help you move beyond surface interpretations and into the real complexity of human connection. And here's something I've learned. Oracle cards can be incredibly helpful in relationship readings. Tarot gives you the structure and depth. Oracle cards give you direct, accessible language. Sometimes a single oracle message like release or wait or truth is exactly what cuts through the confusion. Use the tools that serve the reading. You're not bound to just one deck or one method. The key with any spread is this: make sure the layout actually matches the question. Don't force someone else's question into a Celtic cross just because that's the spread you know best. Choose the layout that gives you the specific angles of insight that the situation requires. And if you're reading for someone else, explain the spread before you pull the cards. Let them know what each position represents. That transparency builds trust and helps them receive the reading more openly. I want to tell you about another reading, one that didn't go the way I expected and taught me something important about projection. A friend asked me to read for her about a new relationship. She's been seeing someone for a few months and things felt good, but she had this nagging feeling that something was off. She couldn't name it. She just kept on saying, "I don't know, George. It feels too easy. Like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop." I shuffled, I pulled the cards, and the spread was beautiful. The Lovers, the Two of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles. Everything pointed to harmony, commitment, long-term potential. I looked at her and said, "I think you're just not used to things going well. The cards are saying this is real. Let yourself trust it." She seemed relieved, and we moved on to other topics. The reading felt complete. 6 months later, she called me. They broke up, not in a gentle, mutual way, in a painful, messy, "I just discovered he's been lying to me this whole time" way. I was stunned. How did I miss that? The cards had been so positive. So I went back to my notes from that reading. I looked at the spread again, and this time I saw what I missed. I've been so focused on the major arcana in the cups that I didn't pay attention to the absence of swords. There was no mental clarity, no communication, no truth being spoken. The spread was all about emotion and idealism, with no grounding in honest dialogue. And here's the other thing I missed. I projected my own beliefs onto the reading. I wanted her to have a good relationship. She's been through a lot, and I wanted this to work out for her. So I emphasized the hopeful cards and downplayed the subtle warning that was there: the lack of air, the absence of clear communication. That reading taught me to slow down, to look not just at what's present, but also at what's missing. To ask myself, am I reading the cards or am I reading my own hopes? And it taught me something else. Sometimes people know. My friend said from the beginning that something felt off. And instead of trusting her intuition, I used the cards to talk her out of it. That was a mistake. Now, when someone comes to me with a gut feeling about a relationship, I take that seriously. I don't use the cards to override their inner knowing. I use the cards to help them understand what they're sensing and why. Tarot isn't a tool to convince people they're wrong about their own experience. It's a tool to help them see more clearly. That reading humbled me, and honestly, I'm grateful for it, because it made me a better, more careful, more honest reader. Let's talk about the ways relationship readings can go sideways, because they absolutely can. Pitfall number 1, obsessive card pulling. This is probably the most common one. Someone is anxious about a relationship, so they pull cards. And then they pull cards again, and again, and again. Every time they don't like the answer, they'll shuffle and try again. They're looking for the cards to tell them what they want to hear instead of what they need to know. I've done this. Most readers have. It's human. But it's also a sign that you're using tarot to feed anxiety instead of gaining clarity. If you find yourself pulling cards about the same relationship question more than once in a short period of time, stop. The cards have spoken. Now you need to sit with the message and let it integrate. Tarot isn't a slot machine. You don't keep pulling until you hit the jackpot. Pitfall number 2, mistaking potential for reality. This one is subtle but devastating. You pull a beautiful spread, the Lovers, the Four of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and you interpret it as this relationship is going to be amazing. But what the cards may actually be showing is potential. Not what is, not even what will be, just what could be under ideal circumstances. And potential doesn't mean anything if the other person isn't actually showing up for it. If the cards show possibility, but the reality is they're emotionally unavailable, still tied to an ex, or not ready for commitment, well, potential doesn't change that. I've learned to ask, are these cards describing the relationship that exists or a relationship I'm hoping for? That question cuts through a lot of disillusion. Pitfall number 3, trying to rescue or fix. If you're reading for someone else, this is the pitfall that will drain you the fastest. Someone comes to you heartbroken, asking you how to get their ex back. You read the cards. The cards say, move on. This is over. You deserve better. But they don't want to hear that. So they keep coming back, asking the same question in different ways, hoping for a different answer. And if you're not careful, you start to try to rescue them. You'll over explain, you'll pull extra cards, you'll offer advice beyond what the reading is showing. You'll take on their pain as if it's your responsibility to fix. It's not. Your job as a reader is to offer clarity and hold space. It's not your job to make someone accept the truth or feel better about it. If someone keeps on asking the same question and rejecting every answer, that's a sign they're not ready for a reading. They're looking for validation, not insight. And it's okay to say, I don't think another reading is going to help right now. I think you need time to process what the cards have already shown. You're allowed to protect your own energy. Pitfall number 4, using love readings to avoid your own healing. This one is for the readers who also read for themselves. If you're constantly pulling cards about a relationship instead of actually addressing your own feelings, patterns, or wounds, the cards become a distraction, not a tool. Tarot can help you see clearly, but it can't do the healing work for you. At some point, you have to close the deck and sit with yourself. Feel the grief, process the anger, do the inner work. The cards can guide you, but they can't replace therapy, honest self-reflection, or time. So if you notice yourself reading obsessively about a relationship, ask yourself, am I using these cards to gain insight or to avoid feeling what I need to feel? That's the question that brings you back to center. I want to offer you a simple practice you can use before doing any relationship reading, whether for yourself or for someone else. This isn't a long meditation. It's a way to center yourself and attune to the energy you're about to explore. So find a comfortable position, close your eyes if it feels safe, or soften your gaze. Take 3 slow breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now bring the mind to the relationship you're reading about. Don't analyze it, just let it exist in your awareness. Imagine there's a space between you and the other person, a field of energy. It has quality, a texture, maybe even a color or a temperature. Don't try to make it be anything, just notice what shows up. Is the space between you open or closed, light or heavy, still or moving, warm or cool? There's no right answer, just what you sense. Now ask yourself, what does this connection need most right now? Let the first word or image that arises come forward. Don't edit it, just receive it. Take one more breath, and when you're ready, open your eyes. That's it. Simple but powerful. This practice helps you move out of your thinking mind and into intuitive sensing. It primes you to receive the cards from a deeper place. And if you're reading for someone else, you can guide them through this before you pull the cards. It helps them drop into presence so they're more open to what the reading reveals. Let's close with a card for everyone listening today. A card about relationship, connection, and the heart. As I was developing this episode about relationship readings, one card kept showing up in my mind, the star. And the more I sat with it, the more I realized it wasn't random. This card wanted to be part of today's conversation. So like in episode 6, today's card has been collaborating with me throughout the creation of this episode, and it represents this topic beautifully. In the image, we often see a figure kneeling by the water, pouring it out, one stream into the water, one onto the land. Above, the stars shine. It's a card of hope, renewal, and trust. After everything we talked about today, the complexities, the pitfalls, the emotional weight of love readings, the star offers something essential: perspective. When you're stuck in the thick of heartbreak or longing or confusion, it's hard to see beyond the immediate pain. The star reminds you to look up, to remember that your story is larger than this one moment, this one relationship, this one disappointment. The star doesn't promise that everything will work out the way you want, but it does promise that healing is possible, that clarity will come, that you won't always feel this lost. If you're navigating something difficult in love right now, let this card remind you, you're not broken. You're not too much or not enough. You're simply human, learning what it means to give and receive love with honesty and care. And if you're reading tarot for others around these themes, let the star guide your approach. Be the calm, steady presence. Be the one who reflects hope without feeding delusion. Be the one who helps people find their way back to themselves. That's the gift of this work. So that's episode 7, Love, Readings, and Relationship Real Talk. Today we explored why love readings hit differently, how to stay ethically grounded, some spreads that actually work, a story from my own practice that taught me humility, and the common pitfalls that trip us up. We also walked through a brief centering practice you can use anytime you're reading about connection. And if this episode stirred something in you, whether you're a reader or someone seeking clarity in your own love life, I hope it gave you permission to approach these questions with a little bit more care, a little bit more honesty, and a lot more self-compassion. Next time on the Tarot Show, we'll be exploring something completely different, and I'm excited to share it with you. Until then, if you're enjoying the show, please follow, rate, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube. It helps more people find these conversations, and I'm deeply grateful for your support. You can also visit our website at tarottalkshow.com for show notes, transcripts, and more. I'm George Dus, and you're listening to the Tarot Talk Show podcast. Until then, may your readings be clear, your heart be honest, and your love be grounded in truth.